I genuinely think it's rude at this point to keep Zoe there. Not because I dislike Zoe, because I don't dislike Zoe. I like Zoe. And I just think it's disrespectful to keep her there. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. Make sure to
Like
comment.
and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to BachMakers, presented by Good Time Media. I am Wyatt, that is Michael, and welcome to our recap of Grant's hometowns. Usually our least favorite episode of the season is hometowns. I would say this was a slightly more eventful than we've got the last couple seasons. I would say this was a slightly better hometowns episode. Not for the hometowns itself, but for the extracurriculars around it. This was more drama, more exciting to watch than even Joey's hometowns. We got Nick, but then nothing else. And there's never a lot of drama on the actual hometown. It's all fluff.
Yeah, I guess you could say slightly better, and keyword on slightly.
Mhm.
I still think this is my least favorite episode of the season so far. I'll say that.
Yes.
Coincidence that Carolina's not in the episode? I don't know. I can't tell you that. All bias aside, I think this episode was pretty monotonous. We got a little drama. Oh, somebody's not showing up at the hometown date. Oh, a dad is worried about this whole process. Nothing new there. Nothing new.
Yeah.
All the hometown dates. Latia's was literally they just rode horses and then showed up at the house. That's it.
Yeah, we
Like,
can
Juliana at
let's
least
do
got to make a
Juliana's real
pizza
quick.
with.
Like
Yeah.
Juliana, we can spark note this. He went to Newton, Mass, basically Boston. They had a little food fight, which was cool. They're throwing flour at each other, making pizza. They had the little local pizzeria owner like try to roast Grant a little bit. Like, oh, you're the guy who's been twirling Juliana around. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, nothing really happens there. Carl, the dad, we think is misnamed. He needs a cooler, more Italian name. What did we settle on?
Giovanni Bernard.
Giovanni Bernard, very original name.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to call him that from now on. If we see him again later on, we will refer to him as Giovanni. Cool guy. I liked him. I liked his presence. He's like JV Nick Georges, I would say. I don't think that's an insult. That's like being LeBron James to Michael Jordan, or however you rank those two. You're going to prefer one over the other. Nick Georges is our GOAT. And then number 2, we can maybe put Carl up there. He's in the running. I liked him.
Okay. I need to see more from him for that. But.
Yeah, I mean, but who else? Name one other dad from this. Mark.
Yeah,
I'm take the golden. Take the golden people out. If we're just ranking dad.
But he was on before Golden. He was golden before Golden.
He was. You're right. What do you want to talk about from this date? Anything?
I liked how they had "Shipping Up to Boston" as a song that really got me in the mood for hometowns. Like normally, I'm not in the mood. I didn't know what was gonna be the first one. Then I hear "Shipping Up to Boston" playing, and I'm like, "Let's go! Like, let's get it! Let's get it! Like Boston, here we go! Go Pats!"
There were a lot of people at this hometown. That would be intimidating. I would be intimidated. So Grant, props to you for holding your own there, because that's an intimidating environment to walk into.
And he walked in with just cold pizzas. Think about it. They made pizzas way earlier in the day. The lights were the sun was out. Very, very much out. And then those pizzas and those cannolis were just sitting there. I don't know. Was ABC heating them in the vans or whatever? I don't know. But that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, those pizzas are cold.
They definitely those up. They probably sent the intern out, but hey, go get some fresh pizza. He's like, are you kidding me? How many? He's like 12. Like the one intern's running down the street with 12 pizzas like Spider-Man. Grant did mention or say to Carl Giovanni that seeing him as he could see him as a father-in-law, or the phrasing was more direct than that even, which rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, because that's something you can just like hold in a little bit longer. Maybe wait a couple weeks. I wouldn't do that in hometowns when you're still dating 3 other people. But at the end of the day, he does say that he's falling in love with Juliana. We got the full falling in love bomb.
Yeah.
And not the only one of this episode. Juliana feels like is she the strongest contender at this point?
It's 2 tiers. There's a clear top 2 and there's a clear bottom 2. We said it after last episode. And now there's a clear top two and a clear bottom one. Sorry, Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, we'll go to Zoe right now. Everything we're about to say about Zoe is in defense of Zoe almost. I think we're defending Zoe by like, Grant, let her go. Let her leave. You're clearly not going to pick Zoe at the end of this. Let her go.
I mean, the season's so short anyway. They should have just done 3 hometowns and then 2 fantasy suites.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, I think that would have honestly made the most sense. And budget wise, ABC, that would probably save you guys a couple $1,000. You guys would have liked that. Because I feel like fantasy suites, and I mean, we can get this later, but I feel like fantasy suites and finale is going to be one episode.
We'll see.
Because I just don't think there's content there. I don't think there's enough content. Like, I think it's.
Well, with Zoe's date, also very important thing to point out about this hometown date with Zoe. It is also their very first date. This is the first date they've ever had, and they're taking engagement photos. I don't mind the engagement photo date. People are going to hate on her for that. I think it's a modeling, it's a fun little gag. But within the context of this is their first date ever, one-on-one date, and it's hometowns, that's a little too much. There's too much working against them at that point to make it work and not make it a little bit weird. The date itself in a vacuum, I'm fine with. I don't have a problem with. I think it's fun. It's not that serious. You take photos. She's a model because she can be. And yeah, I don't know. I had no problem with the actual date. It's just a matter of this is their first date ever, and it's insane.
Yeah, and he said it's a little surreal to be taking engagement photos. I guess because it's your first date. But sir, you're going to be proposing to somebody in 2 weeks. You kind of got to get used to it.
Yeah.
All right. Like
That's
coming up real quick.
He has not processed that fact. Even talking to Joey, everything. He is not. He's like, whoa, this is like kind of like getting real right now. Dude, you got 3 women left. Like, yeah, it's getting really real. He said to Zoe at one point during the day, he's like, or he said to the camera, he was like, yeah, like I really think I'm starting to get to know her. Dude, what?
I mean, okay.
It's hometowns.
We can say this, but we know the process. We know what this process is like, and they only really have, a couple of days in total time to get to know each other before they are actually engaged. It's different than Paradise. We actually have more time.
Well, that's the weird thing about this season, because they're airing it so fast. So we as the audience are going through it so fast. We're almost getting the same experience that they do on the show, where we know it's a short time frame. Now we're actually almost seeing it within the time frame that it happened. If you think about it, because they filmed for what, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
We're 6 weeks in. This is week 6. So we're seeing the process, basically. We're just a little bit behind them. So that's why this season is feeling so weird. And that's why I think these connections feel a little bit different than other ones, because we're actually experiencing it in the same time frame that they experience it as filming it. So that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's definitely a little whiplash in a sense. And maybe that's a reason they're canceling The Bachelorette. Maybe they're kind of going to reconstruct this thing and maybe even do longer than 6 weeks and make it kind of a longer process to actually get more, I don't know, so they could actually like know each other better. As crazy as it sounds. Whoa.
Yeah, nuts concept there. It does feel like, again, not to talk about the season as a whole right now, but if it feels so rushed in the sense of like they're just ready for this to be over. And we'll see what happens. But the rest of Zoe's date, they go to meet what she refers to as her chosen family. So it's her uncle, her aunt, her sister, and a friend.
And a friend. And right? Yeah, I think just 1 or 2 friends. Yeah.
She did mention that she cut ties with her adopted family about a year ago, which again, like that's a lot to deal with, I think. And it just feels like, I don't know. I don't want to gloss over that. So that's why we're here with a little ragtag group of family and friends, which is fun. Her sister, Faith, talks to Grant and is, again, ask the question, like, have you said I love you yet? Which a very reasonable response for Grant would be, this is our first fucking date. So no, I haven't.
Mhm.
He did say, again, very romantically, I like her a lot.
I like her.
He didn't even say like. He doesn't even like her. He just likes her.
Because girls love cooties.
Yeah. I like her. Yeah, she's like chill and all. And meanwhile, he's saying that Juliana and Latia is like, I am falling in love with you.
Yeah, it's
But I
just
like
such
Zoe.
it's such a clear difference. Like
Mhm.
it's so night and day.
They're not
Like
even trying to hide it.
yeah, well, they can only edit it into a certain way of what you can't make something up.
Yeah.
The editing they can kind of twist your words and stuff, but they can't make you say certain things. So that means, ugh, it's not looking too good for Zoe,
Well, and
which is
then
tough.
the other nail in the coffin for Zoe is Grant's sister asked why didn't she get a one-on-one date, which
Which
is the only question that needs to be asked. Oh, you
also,
gave one-on-one dates to everyone else but her. What is she still doing here?
yeah, she probably knows. And let's be real, she's a woman that's probably seen The Bachelor or Bachelorette a couple times, so she knows how it works and she knows the process. She knows that not getting a one-on-one and still being in hometowns is unheard of, and this man needs to kind of answer for his crimes.
Yeah, and it's still crazy for him to say. Grant says, "Oh, like at one point we were like on different pages, and then now like we're both locked in." If you were locked in and certain of that at that point, you would want to spend time with her. If you were certain that, hey, I'm going to bring this
Yeah,
person to hometowns, you wouldn't give Latia another date. You gave Latia 2 dates before Zoe even got one.
Latia's first date was kind of an asterisk. It was kind of an asterisk. You know that.
Oh, you're right.
It
It
was the
was the
backup date for Beverly.
Beverly. You're
And it
right.
was
You're
only like a
right.
half one-on-one because the first part of it was with Serafina and Dina.
That's a great point. I forgot that was the first date. So that's okay. I'm less mad now. I'm less mad about that option. So that makes sense to me. Let's do Latia's date, which I think was the most fun and the most typical
Wholesome.
bachelor wholesome hometown date, where we
Yeah,
go we go
100%.
to Wyoming, which is it's the country, man. Wyoming's like Wyoming's like the
Yeah,
country, dude.
he looks so cute, like a lumberjack.
Dude, bro,
That's how
it's giving country.
it's giving. Let me put on my Carhartt and put on my boots and go ride a horse and
This is kind of
freaking
giving country
throw in
right
a
now.
lip.
He did seem a little bit out of his element there, but they go horse riding. He kept talking about the Mormon aspect of things. He was worried about that. Well, he kept saying, "I'm not worried. I just don't know. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I just don't know." He said that about 12 times while talking to her. Um,
Yeah, but
and again, a valid thing to be worried about because that seems like a very big sticking point. Which let's talk a little bit about this because they have never in the show gone into specifics about what that lifestyle looks like. Because I don't think Grant knows at this point. They didn't. Maybe they had conversations off air, but we as the audience, we don't know anything. If we don't have Google, we can't look up what Mormonism is. We're just watching the show. They've given us no context on what the lifestyle differences are. We Googled it. If they're like really abiding by all the rules, it's no alcohol, it's no coffee, which is insane. No tobacco, no tea, no fantasy suites. That's for sure. Ain't no way.
well, there's a little loophole. There's a loophole.
There's there.
That's tough. If
If
they have
if
bunk
they say
beds, if they have bunk beds at fantasy suites, and they get the ABC intern in on it.
if they bring up if the S word is said at fantasy suites, it'll make the season for me if they bring up the S
Oh
word.
my god, that'd be so funny.
Oh, if Latia makes an S word joke, I don't know why I'm blurring it, but it's kind of funny if we don't say it. It would be incredible, and I'm hoping for that. Now I'm gonna be disappointed when they don't say it, but yeah, that's the specifics of it. Which
Mhm.
again, maybe one of our very loyal Batchmaker listeners go back. I want to know if Latia is drinking like champagne during these toasts and everything. Because again, I'm not the Mormon police. I don't care. She can do what she wants to do. I'm not gonna like chastise her for that. But I'd be interested to see because like there's always drinking during the show. They always are bringing out champagne, a lot of stuff going on. So that'd be interesting to go back and look for. Latia's family, super wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love their family. I want to spend more time with her family.
We got the Gramps, her grandpa, who Dick Vitale, kind of sounds like Dick Vitale, in a good way, I guess.
It's awesome, baby.
But yeah, a super wholesome chat with him about, and she said to Gramps, "I love him," and then she said to her mom after, "I think I love him."
Yeah,
that was strange. I don't know if you noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were filmed different timing and the editing threw us off. But why are you telling Gramps you love him, but your mom, I only think I love him? What are you hiding, girl? What are you hiding?
Why did this feel? Why does this right now feel like the first we're talking about Latia on this show? Like this show, BachMakers. I feel like we haven't talked about Latia at all. It's always been in passing. Like, oh yeah, Latia's there. Latia's here.
Because the Bachelor season literally just started before we were just watching the Carolina show.
Yeah.
So this is the first episode. Speaking of Litia.
Okay.
Speaking of Litia.
Well, yeah, let's speak of her. Let's speak of her.
So at the start of the date, when they were kind of like getting on the horses and like kind of just bantering, we were getting a little back and forth. I don't know why, but I feel like Latia uses like a different voice to Grant than she does when she's talking to the other woman and everything. She kind of uses like a baby voice. Is that just me? Like she said a couple of things. I was like, "You got it. Come on." And like, "You can call me TT." It's not fake. It's not fake. I don't think it's fake.
Is it like flirty though? It could be like a flirty little.
Could be like a flirty thing, but it kind of seems like a little like too playful for my liking, of maybe too like babyish, like kind of baby talk, but like you've only been on one date and you barely know him. You know, I don't know. It seemed a little baby talk for me, which I don't know if anybody else got that. I think everybody, the consensus that Latia is awesome, but
I wrote down Latia
head shaking and smiling. I don't know.
I wrote down Latia's breaking my heart as she was talking to her grandpa. I think this is gonna hurt. I think this is gonna hurt big time. Especially they started talking about her grandma and then her dad, about how good of a man he was, how easy he was to love, and it just, and then Latia's talking about Grant, and I have a bad feeling it's gonna end poorly and it's gonna break my heart. And then it's gonna break my heart again knowing if the Bachelorette was still around for this season, it probably would have been Latia.
Oh, 100%. And I think she's deserving of a badge. I know everybody wanted Maria, and I would want Maria too. But I think Latia has a lot of supporters wanting a season for her.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys would love Latia. Are you kidding me? Like we've been saying, she's literally perfect. And she's definitely ready for it. And time wise, she's,
I would say this. While we're talking about both of them, Maria and Latia, I think Maria would have the better Bachelorette season.
Oh, way more fun.
Latia would be the better Bachelorette.
But imagine a joint Bachelorette season with those two.
But you know what I'm saying here? Maria would have the better Bachelorette season. Latia would be the better Bachelorette. Like Latia is a Bachelorette. In like the traditional, what Maria is going to do things the Maria way, as she should.
Yeah.
Latia would be a very good Bachelorette.
Yeah, but I feel like she would lead some people on, not gonna lie.
Disagree.
I don't get that. It'd be so easy to get lost in her eyes.
Oh well, yeah, everyone's gonna fall in love with her for sure, but I don't think by any fault of her own.
That's besides the point. That's besides the point. I'm sure we'll have more Bachelorette talk later.
Let's go to Dina's date, where this is where things start to get interesting a little bit. We find out that Dina's parents don't want to be there. They don't want to be on camera. And my question is, she's got 11 siblings, right? Maybe more. Not one of them is like, let me take the 5 minutes on camera. Not one of them wanted to show up. It
Yeah,
can't.
no, that's it's weird.
It's weird. It's
There's
weird.
got to be more to the story. I don't know if the story will ever be more to the story, and that's obviously on the family and on
Mhm.
Dina to reveal or share if they so choose. But that's very strange how she was like they came to a joint decision to not participate. That just
Yeah.
seems really strange. I feel really bad for Dina. Like that's the number one thing. I feel so awful for Dina because
Yeah.
that must suck. Even if she's really close to her family, even if now she's still really close to her family, I don't know how that relationship is, and I hope it's good. But that's got to be just like like really, dang, like
Do,
that sucks.
do you think they
That would
wrote
hurt.
Do you think they wrote an actual joint agreement and then Dina being like the lawyer she is, saw it, read it, and be like, yeah, checks out. Everything's here.
Like
She's like
can't sue.
crying. She's like, yes, checks out. Paperwork's all here.
She signs it. All right.
All
Well,
right. Yep.
next
Fair
time.
enough. Or maybe Dina's playing behind the scenes is like, hey, I'm starting to see how all this is played. It's not a good idea for us to do this as your lawyer, as your family lawyer. Be like, hey, we should opt out of this and get ahead of this and stay off camera.
That's not a terrible conspiracy that she kind of told him not to do. Like,
Yeah.
what if she kind of knew she was not going to win this thing and doesn't want the embarrassment of introducing a guy that she's going to eventually break up with to her family that's 11 siblings and parents and everything like that?
Maybe she just
Is that
doesn't fuck with her family like that and be like, hey, I don't want to see them. And I'll play it
yeah,
off like they don't want to see you.
yeah, I
Probably not
mean,
it. Probably not it.
I think that's a little exaggeration. I think my conspiracy is way better than that,
Yeah,
but
probably.
whatever.
I was grasping at straws there. Um, the Grant's date with Dina though, her friends show up for her, which we love the power of friendship. Unreal ratio for Grant. Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I could have pulled up. I could have been there literally in 5 minutes, less than that.
Yeah.
I could have been there in 4 minutes. That's zero point 0.8 miles down the street from me.
Okay, we got to keep a better eye out when there are Chicago girls on this show or guys. You gotta be in the city more. You gotta be everywhere. Just keep an eye out.
Brother, Chicago is a huge
Just
city. I'm
keep
not
an
gonna
eye
lie.
out. Just keep an eye out better. It was right. It was a mile away from you, Michael.
It is still crazy that I saw Daisy when the random weekend she was here.
That is nuts. It's not that big of
No,
a
that
city.
was
We find
yeah,
each other. Us Bachelor Nation members, we find each other.
yeah, that was crazy.
I want to ask about the friends that are there. Do you think there is one friend who's pissed right now that they weren't there? Or like who was the cutoff? Do you think it was the entire friend group?
No, I think that was I think if anything that was the entire friend group and some people that are like not really in the friend group but
Okay.
like still go to like the big celebrations. Like for sure not a bridesmaid, but like shows up, at the big, birthdays and stuff and like goes to the housewarming parties. But like definitely she's definitely closest with like Enrita. She was
Mhm.
definitely the top dog. Enrita was definitely the top
Top
dog
dog. Yeah.
of the friend
Well,
group for
Dina
sure.
Dina's
Dina
top
might
dog.
have been the top dog.
19 Dina's top dog. And then
But then
all these other dogs.
Enrina wanted to be top dog. She wanted to be alpha, but clearly Dina's the alpha. It's
Yeah.
the TikTok Riz party or whatever.
Yeah.
um, like the one. Oh, has division. I don't know. Oh my God, brain rot. Holy.
It's too deep. We're too deep. Um
Oh, I need to
yeah,
throw
we
my
we
phone
don't we
away.
don't talk enough about how contestants leaving for the show impacts the friend group. Because I bet this friend group, if Dina's the wolf pack leader, for to quote Grant here, this friend group's been flailing. They're like, what do we
I
do
mean,
without our leader?
they've been gone like what, a month, 5 weeks. Like
Yeah.
that's not that long.
I don't know. I don't know what
I mean, some friend groups go 5 weeks without seeing each other.
yeah.
They're busy lives. They're 30 years old, dog.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Like, I know it's kind of sad reality of it all.
Yeah.
Not to get emo, but yeah.
Yeah. So they do their whole little what almost would you call it a fair?
No, it's Jack's pumpkin pop up. It's a little like it was a little pumpkin festival kind of pop up patch thing with like you can get drinks. Like I think you could pay like $30 and get two like seasonal cocktails and everything, and then you get to play the different games and stuff.
Fun.
I
Super
didn't
fun.
go. I was gonna take one of my hinge dates there. I
Yeah.
mean, a hinge date, not one of my hinge dates, a hinge date there, but I
Well, I'm
didn't.
saying one of my hinge dates. Oh yeah, my Thursday hinge date canceled, so I'm gonna take my Friday one on Saturday to the Jack o' Lantern place. So, anyways,
Sad.
we'll fast
Sad.
forward to well, what did he say to Dina at the end there? I can't remember. He didn't say anything about
Um,
falling in love, right?
no, but he was saying that like it brought him closer to her. You know, he didn't say like I'm falling for you, which I knew was toast because Dina didn't say I'm falling for you either.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if Dina says, "Hey Grant, like I'm starting to fall in love with you," I low key think he would have kept Dina, but he never got that validation from Dina because she's so like hard nosed. I guess maybe she did say it and they just edited it out. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think if Dina kind of, you know,
Well, here's the
was
thing.
like, "I love you, Grant. I love you. Do you love me
Here,
too, Grant?"
here's what I think really happened with Dina and why ultimately she is the one to go home tonight. I think the producers did a full sabotage against her. I think there was a mutiny and they're like, we got to get Dina out of here. Again, conspiracy hat. I think they're mad that Dina's parents or family opted out of this. They're like, that's ruining our show. It's not hometown date without the family. I think they're mad. So then they sabotaged her by having all the girls sit together and talk about their hometown dates, about how their big families showed up and were here, and even Zoe had people show up in her family that were there. And they don't always do that. They don't always sit around a little round table and talk about how great their hometown dates went. I think they did that to put doubt into Dina and think, oh man, like I don't think this went great. And then all of a sudden things start to spiral, things don't work out. That's conspiracy hat. I think producers were upset that Dina's parents weren't there.
Didn't they do that for Jen's season? Remember they got beers at that one bar and talked
Oh,
about their
you're right. They
yeah.
did.
Remember it was
That
really
was
weird and really
so weird.
it was so weird. It
All
was
right, conspiracy
yeah.
hat off. But
Um
yeah, I forgot about that scene. That's a who was hometowns at that point? Jonathan, Marcus,
Market
Devin, and
Jeremy.
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 Yeah. Wait,
Um
Jeremy made hometowns? No way. That guy?
yeah, it's very slept on. Very slept on that Jeremy made hometowns. Um what was I gonna say? If anything, I think the producers, if they did sabotage it, I don't think that's the reason. It's because like the family didn't show up. I think it's because we know what we got here with Dina. If we want her at the woman tell all, let's send her packing so she can be at the tell all, so we can get a little Dina Carolina part 2.
Well, wouldn't you rather have Zoe?
Honestly, no,
Really?
because I think they're gonna just focus on the Carolina Dina
It's
drama.
it's all it's all
Because
gonna be
the
Carolina.
Zoe was like, yeah, was it the first episode and a half?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was 8 hours ago, basically.
yeah, it was a solid 2 episodes of drama, but like
That's a
think
third of the season.
I think the girls kind of just like saw that as like like it's whatever, and I think people got over that.
I,
Obviously, I would love to have Zoe at the woman tell all because then we also get the drama with the Serafina with the short dress comment. Like,
mhm.
let them hash that out.
Yeah, and then
Like,
now it's gonna be ganging up on Carolina. That's
oh
all it's gonna
yeah,
be.
I
It's
know
gonna be
the
the
fact that
Carolina
Zoe's
show.
not there.
Yeah,
Oh my
Zoe not
gosh.
being there is gonna be terrible for Carolina.
Hopefully, Carolina got the bag to show up to the woman tell all
She
because
better.
she knew what she was in for. She had to have known like I'm gonna get all the targets gonna be at me. You know.
How about this, Carolina? I'm gonna clip this. If you're watching, comment your Venmo. Everyone will Venmo you for showing up and being a trooper and going to the tell all.
Oh
Thank you for your service. Because
gosh.
my goodness, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Hopefully they all like make up and hug.
0 chance. Actually, no, they
Yeah.
always do. They always do.
Yeah. Girls are fake. Even if they don't mean it, they will. What?
No,
It's true. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but guys are kind of the same way. To be honest, we're pretty fake too.
No, but we don't.
We're just bad at it.
We just
We're
don't
bad at being
care.
fake.
No, we just don't care as much. Like we don't care about
No, I
like
think we just
little petty
internalize it.
shit.
We just internalize it forever
Maybe,
and
dude.
becomes
Maybe that's just you, dog.
yeah, we
Like,
be we
yo,
become old stoic emotionless beings who just want to watch football on Sundays.
Are you okay, bro? Is this what the Vikings have done to you?
Oh, dude, Vikings done way worse. If this was a Vikings thing, that's a whole different ball game. All right, let's talk about Joey real quick. He shows up, talks for a couple minutes, does a little. He's definitely in his Dancing with the Stars mode because this was filmed in around October. He's got the cut, he's got the tan, looking straight off the dance floor. And I think Joey, we got what we needed out of him. Little quick cameo. Everyone's happy. All the people who wanted Joey, very happy. Congrats, you got what you wanted.
yeah. I mean, ABC absolutely milked the hell out of Joey's 5 minutes talking to Grant. I think I saw 2 or 3 different promo clips of Joey being on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what they were doing too. They know people have been talking like, "Oh, I miss Joey. Joey was so much better than Grant. Joey this, Joey that."
So dumb. It's the dumbest thing on the internet.
It is dumb, but they knew people have been talking about that, and so they're like, "All right, you guys want Joey? Like he's gonna be at the very end of this episode. Make sure you watch the whole thing to watch the 5 minute clip of Joey." Come on, ABC, relax.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think he gives good advice. You mentioned on our live show about the advice you want to say that.
Yeah. So Joey says, you really just gotta like trust your gut and like go with your gut feeling, like it's there for a reason. And then Grant hits him with like, I need the exact quote, or it's just not gonna hit.
Dude, that's actually great advice.
That's great advice, bro.
Yes,
You gotta have the bro in
bro.
it because the bro makes that's great advice, bro.
That's great. Shit, now that you mentioned that's really telling. Wow.
Dude, I thought my gut was just there to like digest my food and everything, but now that you're saying like I could listen to it, but my ears are up here, my gut's in my body. How is that? Okay.
This put things in a whole new light, bro. This is eye opening. The enlightenment of Joey. Yeah, Joey, glad to have you. Play me in tennis anytime you want. So we'll still make that happen. Now you're less busy. You're off Dancing with the Stars. I know you were busy there for a while. So whenever you want, wherever you want, you let me know. Let's play. Let's get to the rose ceremony. We've already talked about Dina obviously going home. Spoiler alert. One thing I want to mention, Jesse. We talk about his cameos quite a bit. This is Hometowns has to be Jesse's favorite episode to film because all he has to do is he doesn't have to travel at all. I'm pretty sure he lives in LA. He just has to show up to wherever the rose ceremony is, go, ladies, it's the final rose. And then go back to his family. Like, imagine that. What's that like at home for him? He's like, oh, honey, I got to go into work. Oh, is it Hometown episode? Yeah, I'll be back in 20. Like, he's gonna drive down the street and be like, ladies, final rose. And then go back and watch football with his wife and kids. Kid?
I don't know. Jesse's got the most irrelevant job. I'm sorry, but like it's so not needed.
It's the best.
Like, the thing is, it's the best because like his job can't be replaced with AI. My job can't. He can't, which is wild. Wild. Like his job's easier than mine. Like his job, I'm sorry, Jesse. It's easier than mine, but it can't be replaced with AI. And like, how is he getting away with this? How is this possible? This is why. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because the thing about his other job probably could be replaced by AI, college football announcing.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah,
you don't need to
100%.
see him call, but like we need to see Jesse stand up there and say, "Ladies."
Unless it's a robot Jesse.
See,
They get no. But if they're gonna do a robot, they're gonna do a robot Chris Harrison because people were calling for him back anyway.
Ladies, this is the final rose. If you do not receive a rose tonight, please say your goodbyes.
And then the classic after we know who's gone, the classic Dina. It's that infliction.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dina, I'm so sorry.
Dina, I'm so sorry.
No, you can't do that as a robot. That'd be actually hilarious.
Dina, please pack your bags and get the fuck out of the mansion.
Beep boop bop.
Beep boop.
I do actually think Paradise should do what Love Island does and just have no host and just do texts
I got a
as like
text.
as like the facilitator. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the voice.
I got a text.
I'm so excited for Love Island. I'm not lying.
I just wanted to point out Jesse's cameo. It made me realize that we hadn't seen him all night. I was like, oh yeah, there's our guy. Rose ceremony. He ends up giving roses to Latia, Juliana, and finally Zoe. And I will say it again. I genuinely think it's rude at this point to keep Zoe there. Not because I dislike Zoe, because I don't dislike Zoe. I like Zoe. And I just think it's disrespectful to keep her there. It's like when you play a kid, or like when you have like the small Catholic school 6th grade all white basketball team go play like an AAU team. Like you shouldn't be on that court. You shouldn't be out there.
I mean,
That's
I'm
what
sure all those guys are sneaky athletic. They make the right plays. First one in, last one out.
I'm just they don't deserve to be on the same court. And it's not like they're bad players, but it's a different league. Zoe is not in the same league as Juliana and Latia at this point in terms of Grant's potential suitors. Not to say like not in the same league. That came across the wrong way. Anyways,
Yeah.
I just think you know what I'm saying. It's disrespectful to keep Zoe around. At this point, if you know for a fact it's not going to be Zoe, which all of your actions and your words say so, can't give her a rose there. And I know you have to do it for the sake of the show, but
yes, you do have to do it for the sake of the show. And to play devil's advocate here on Grant's side, everybody's been making comparisons about Grant versus Joey's season and Grant versus Joey's season. It's kind of a similar thing with Rachel. Like we knew Rachel wasn't Daisy or Kelsey.
Yeah.
We knew Rachel wasn't winning this. And we knew Maria probably had a better chance than Rachel. And Maria got sent home at hometowns, not fantasy suites. He kind of strung Rachel along a little bit, right?
Yeah, but
and so how is it different than Grant stringing along Zoe?
Because I have not seen any real connection between Zoe and Grant. At least with Rachel, they had that one-on-one date. Remember, she broke her jaw.
That was at Fantasy Suites, brother.
Was it?
That was at Fantasy Suites when she broke her jaw and when they jumped in the little like cave, not cave, but like
when they
like
danced.
The water.
Is that Fantasy Suites?
No, that was the wedding date that she just won. The group date that she won.
Okay, well, anyways, my point.
She did have a one-on-one.
My point being, Joey and Rachel had an on-screen connection that we could see. What we've been seeing of Zoe isn't that. And maybe it's there, and maybe we just haven't seen it. But if it's not there, you can't, like, it's got to be obvious to her at this point. It's like, why am I still here? And that's got to be an awful feeling. So I do feel bad for Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, if she went home on her own next week or 2 weeks, I guess technically, I wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all.
Yeah, I am still very shocked that they're having the woman tell all before Fantasy Suites, not before the finale. Because why wouldn't they want Zoe there? Assuming Zoe gets out at maybe Zoe makes it to the finale. Maybe. Oh my gosh,
dude. That'd be the worst finale. You think he's torn between Zoe and someone else the finale? But look at all the evidence. If he can't decide 10 minutes before, it's got to be Latia and Juliana.
That's true, but
it has to be.
But what if?
Grant's dumb. He's not stupid.
I mean, I don't think was that trying to be a bar?
No, he's dumb. He's not stupid.
I don't think he's dumb.
Releasing a song 24 hours before season is dumb.
Maybe ABC made him do that.
That would be
to self-sabotage. Oh, I don't even know.
No, you're right. Man. Grant's not dumb. It's just he's had some boneheaded mistakes, I would say, along the way. But we all would in his shoes. Let's be honest. We all would be perfect bachelors. But
I don't think I'd be able to, because I think I would either accidentally lead all of them on so much, and I would definitely just get the villain edit to myself, or two, know exactly who's gonna win night
Yep.
one,
Yep.
and then not be able to like actually have real conversation with everybody else because I would be so afraid of like emotionally cheating on the one that
Yep.
is gonna win.
Yep.
Like
100%. That's it. That's how every normal
I'm
person
too
would be.
I'm too loyal. You know, I care too
I,
much.
I love too hard. What are your
That's
3
why.
worst qualities? I work too hard, I love too hard, and I'm too humble. All right. You want to do last roses here and then wrap up? So, little production note. We are not having our Rose Bowl scoring at the end of this episode. Charlotte is out of town, so she cannot give out those roses. But what we are going to do is do a little fan vote. So tomorrow, or today, since you're watching this tomorrow, because we're recording at night. So today on our Instagram at BachMakers, you can vote and submit your responses for best dressed, MVP, villain, what am I missing?
Cringe.
Cringe and moment of the episode. So all 5 of those, whichever one gets the most submissions, whatever person gets the most submissions, that's who will be rewarded points. And it is just between Lizzie's leading ladies and Bailey's beauties because the wise gals have unfortunately bowed out. And it's unfortunate. I gave my speech last time. I don't need to go into it again. But that's why we will have a shorter episode today. Let's do final roses. What do you got, Mike?
My final rose is a little not rant, but just kind of a little thing I've been wanting to talk about.
Oh, I like this.
And that was I hate how the winner of the Bachelor is called the winner. You know, like whoever gets the final rose, they're considered the winner. I think that's a stupid. It takes the whole romance out of the show. You know, this is about the show about finding love and finding your person and happy love fairy tale endings. It's not about a game. It's not Traitors. You know, it's not Survivor. There's not one winner. You know,
Yeah, I like this.
if
I like this
anything,
take.
this is love. You know, and
Love
yeah,
is love.
I guess you know like the person that gets the final rose, and if her and Grant are happy together, they win, right? That they're the winners. But I just hate the term winners when people are like, "Who do you think's gonna win? Who do you think's gonna win
Yeah.
this? Win this?" It's not a game.
Yeah.
It's real people, real
Pop off.
feelings,
Come
real
on. Come
love.
on. Pop off. Pop off, Mike. That
So
is
I
that
just
is a big
I
question we
yeah
always get. Yeah.
I don't like that phrasing of winners and stuff
I like
with this
that.
show specifically. Traders, obviously, it's a game show.
Hell yeah. My final rose is gonna go to uh a lovely lady that is now being referred to as Complain Alina. We referenced her a little bit. We got the Woman Tell All coming up next week. Michael, you've given her a lot of love this season, and it's my turn. Complain Alina, also known as Carolina, is handling all of the chaos and the mess that this show provides. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but she's handling it very well in the way you should handle it. The advice I give people, which we are weirdly in a place to give advice early on in these seasons because we know how this works. But I always say you got to play into it. If you don't play into it, people are going to keep doing their
Keep
thing and making stuff up and just talking shit. It's what people do unfortunately in this world. I don't like it. I've gone on rants about it on TikTok and I'm done making rants about it, but it pisses me off. Anyways, people were I don't know who came up with it. They called Carolina Complain Alina.
I think it was
And
a tweet. I think it was a tweet, right?
unreal. Unreal whoever tweeted that. Shout out to that person. But then Carolina stealing that and making that her username on TikTok. Incredible. Incredible move. You got to play into it. Make fun of yourself a little bit. She's doing a good job of that. Again, at the end of the day, folks, this ain't real. Sorry to burst that bubble. I went on this rant on TikTok today. The way I explained it, that makes sense to you. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw it. Wait, what was it about
So
again?
the way I view reality TV is like a game of
Oh,
telephone.
telephone. Yeah, I kind of forgot how the game of telephone works. You kind of explained it a bit.
So one person, how he whispers to another person, they whisper, 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 and you see if the message can get all the way to the end.
Yeah, and there's
So
somebody's the line leader.
yeah. So
Yeah,
someone says something to one person, and usually by the end it's some random, super weird, unrelated thing, and you just wonder how did it get mixed up. That's how I view reality TV. You have the contestants and the cast. They say something, act a certain way. Then that's interpreted by the cameras, certain angles. It's then interpreted by the producers, and then it's interpreted by the directors who want to paint a certain narrative, and then interpreted by the editors, and then interpreted by us. So there's so many degrees of separation that we can't possibly judge those actions or words because there's so many layers in between. So
that's deep.
Come
like,
on.
that is deep.
That's communication.
That's so facts. And like, if anything,
that's called
like,
media literacy. Come on.
That shows like a strong motif of like the dangers and the triumphs of life, right? And like that's how it is.
It's capitalism, am I right? All right. Anyways,
always has been. It's capitalism. Always has been.
All right. That's it for hometowns. Next week we will be covering the good old fashioned fantasy suites, and it'll be fun.
Lineups are back.
Oh yeah. Well, wait.
All of the fallen have risen.
You're right. I've totally forgot. We have women tell all. So the wise gals will be resurrected from the dead. They will be back into play to win some roses. We're still probably out of it, but it'd be fun to see them in action again. Can't wait for that. That should be a fun episode. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and go vote on our Instagram page at BachMakers. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment who you think's going to win, and we'll see you next week. Peace. Thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider joining our Patreon page linked in the description below. It's $5, cup of coffee, and it helps support us a ton. Thank you, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and from next week on the BachMakers, we shave Wyatt's head off.
Maybe. Only one way to find out.
By tuning in.
That was implied.
Back to you in the studio.
And cut.
Thanks, Juliana.